Hi, first grade. Today I'm reading a story called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. And Gail Gibbons is a famous author and illustrator. She writes a lot of nonfiction text, books with information about nature and plants is the topic of this story. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. You look at the illustration, we can see labels: corn, buttercup, pea, rose, daisy, and tulip. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So we know a sunflower seed grows into a sunflower, and we know that an acorn grows into an oak tree. An acorn will never ever grow into a sunflower, and a sunflower seed will never ever grow into an oak tree. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. And you can see here the labels talk about different flowers like the zinnia, the apple tree, the dandelion, and the aster. A flower is made up of many parts. And here they have a lot of labels on the flower parts. Here we have the stem. We learned about the important parts of the stem. And the stem holds up the flower. And the sepal is the little leaves here at the bottom of the flower, the base of the flower. We can see here, if you dissected a flower and took it apart, at the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovulas. And ovulas have the eggs inside. Now here is the stamen, and this is the part of the flower around the pistils that are the stamens, and they have the pollen. At the center of the flower is the pistil, and that is the sticky part at the top of the pistil, and that's called the stigma. The stamens make yellow powder called pollen, and then you know this part of the flower is called the petal. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. This is called pollination. So there they have another diagram of pollination. And you can see here that the pollen, if it lands here on the stigma, then that fertilizes the egg cells and makes the seeds. Pollination happens in different ways. Often wind blows pollen from flower to flower. And that's an example of the pollen blowing from one poppy flower to another. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. So that's the process of pollination with insects and birds. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into the ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. The seeds grow inside the flower. Even as the flower begins to die, as the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So, for example, in a flower, it might look like this. And then in a vegetable, the pod here is the part that is protecting the seeds or the fruit. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. Some pods or fruits open and the seed pops out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along the shore. That's an example of like a coconut. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. like the dandelion. Others have wings that spin as they fall. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts on the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off onto the ground. I've gotten burrs stuck on my clothing before when I went on a hike. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. And I have an example of a seed envelope right here with seeds inside. Directions explain how to plant the seed and how to take care of the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. And we talked about this in our experiment behind me with the embryo inside that we found and the two little leaves. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot toward the sun. And there we can see the shoot growing upward and the roots growing down. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight, and the air around the plant. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals, and they are tasty too. And remember that vocabulary word we learned? The types of vegetables and plants that farmers grow for us to eat are called crops. So they have another experiment in here where you can watch a seed grow. So it talks about bean seeds, and you can find a clean glass jar and take a piece of black construction paper, roll it up, and then slide the paper into the jar. You fill the jar with water, and then step 3, you wedge the bean seeds between the black paper and the glass and put the jar in a warm place. And then in a few days, the seeds will begin to sprout. Watch the roots grow down and the shoots will grow up. So that's something exciting we would do if we were physically in class together. But hopefully when you receive your seeds, you could do this experiment at home. Or if you have seeds of your own, that would be an excellent way to watch how a seed grows. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more information about seeds this week. Bye.